Participatory hot spring monitoring, hot spring surveys in Beppu City and Water Energy Food Nexus. Beppu City, Oita Prefecture, is known as one of Japan's most popular hot spring regions. It has the highest number of hot spring sources and the largest amount of hot spring water in Japan, and hot spring sources are scattered throughout the city. Hot spring resources are used for various purposes, including lodging facilities such as hotels and inns, public baths managed by local municipalities, and medical facilities such as hospitals. Although hot spring water appears to be abundant, they are a limited resource. For example, in the 1960s, the temperature of hot spring water was dropped in some areas of Beppu, which was triggered by the start of the mass consumption by pumps. The situation was then recovered due to the government regulations. But recently, due to the growing interest in renewable energy, the use of hot spring water in geothermal power generation has increased, and a decrease of spring water temperatures has become a serious concern again. Geothermal power plants are often built at high altitudes, and there are concerns that bathhouses and lodging facilities at lower altitudes will be affected by changes in the hot spring water volume, temperature, and mineral components. It is not possible to measure the total amount of hot spring water lying underground. Therefore, in order to continue to use hot spring resources in a long-term, fair, and equitable manner without depleting or decreasing hot spring resources, it is important to monitor the current situation so that the changes can be detected soon after they occur, and countermeasures can be applied as soon as necessary. In Beppu City, researchers and the residents have been carrying out a citywide survey to observe the temperature and components of hot springs. In order to know the state of hot springs, accumulation of the data is necessary, which allows the development of the standards for evaluating the changes. The natural scientific mechanism by which hot springs are generated is a complex process involving water circulation and geological phenomena across the atmosphere and groundwater. But by investigating the temperature and mineral components of hot spring water that springs up from spring sources, it will be possible to monitor the stability of hot spring resources and detect changes to them. In the past, experts have conducted hot spring surveys. However, it is each individual resident who decides how to utilize the hot spring resources as the common property of the city. In November 2016, researchers and citizens started a survey of hot springs throughout the city. In the survey, participants were divided into several groups and visited hot springs spread around the city, measuring water temperature, electrical conductivity, pH, etc., while the researchers gave guidance on measurement methods and analyzed and interpreted the data. The survey was conducted for the second time in 2017, and then has been carried out annually until today. The results of the survey are available on the website. The citywide survey of hot springs is like a health check for hot springs, carried out jointly by residents, the government, and researchers together. By regularly checking the conditions of the hot springs and accumulating data, it will be able to take prompt countermeasures when the changes occur. This initiative was devised based on the concept of a nexus of water, energy, and food. Water, energy, and food are basic resources essential to human life and are dependent on each other. For example, 70% of the world's water intake is used for agriculture, and about 10 to 15% is used for energy. Agriculture and food also account for 33% of the world's energy demand. For these reasons, the three resources of water, energy, and food are strongly related. The word nexus refers to interdependence or linkage. The water-energy-food nexus can be considered as the interdependence among water, energy, and food resources, or the whole of water, energy, food, and their linkages. For example, water is used not only for drinking and bathing, but also for energy, such as hydraulic power generation, and for food production, such as aquaculture. Energy is used to deliver water from the source to users and is also required for food production, transportation, and disposal. Food is not only consumed as food by humans, but also used for energy production, as in biofuels. The Nexus concept aims at optimizing the use of the three resources by considering these various uses, and conserving the three resources at the same time is considered an essential approach towards sustainability. Dependencies among resources can be roughly divided into two types: trade-offs and synergies. Trade-off is a relationship in which you have to sacrifice something in order to attain something else. For example, hydropower and irrigated agriculture both require large amounts of water. If water is used for power generation, less water will be available for agriculture. This is a trade-off relationship. Synergy is the interaction of multiple resources to enhance functions and effects, and to produce greater effects than would be possible with one resource alone. For example, if you make a green curtain with bitter gourds, you can block the sunlight in the summer, save energy, and you can eat them as a vegetable. This is a synergistic relationship. In a study in Beppu, when hot spring water discharged from a geothermal power plant is released into a river, the water quality and water temperature may change. Recent research has found that this may lead to the ecosystem being adversely affected in various ways, such as increases in non-native species. If we can identify potential trade-offs and take proactive measures, we can use resources more efficiently while minimizing the environmental impact. As such, understanding the interdependence between resources is extremely important for sustainable and efficient resource use. The Nexus approach is a method that aims for sustainable resource utilization by clarifying the relationships among water, energy, and food. The Nexus approach consists of two dimensions: interdisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity. Interdisciplinarity requires the collaboration across different disciplines and addresses the complexity of the linkages among water, energy, and food resource systems and sectors by highlighting the trade-offs and synergies. Transdisciplinarity requires collaboration between researchers and the stakeholders of the resources. By applying transdisciplinarity in practice, cooperation among stakeholders can be enhanced, new policies may be developed, and the goals and interests of resource users can be better balanced. We can then use, conserve, and manage local resources more sustainably. The Nexus project of the Research Institute for Humanity and Nature played a central role in the citywide survey and research on hot springs in Beppu City. The Nexus project also proposed ways to sustainably use hot spring resources through an analysis of stakeholders involved and the development of scenarios in collaboration with stakeholders. Let us all take into account the various ways in which resources are used and use them carefully for a better and more sustainable resource use.